goes ever on and on, and from the north it began our father had followed. I must follow if I...
You're late.
A wizard is never late, Frodo Baggins. Nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
It's wonderful to see you, Gandalf.
You didn't think I'd miss your Uncle Bilbo's birthday. So how is the old rascal? I hear it's going to be a party of special magnificence.
You know Bilbo. He's got the whole place in an uproar.
Well, that should please him.
Half the Shire's been invited, and the rest of them are turning up anyway.
And so life in the Shire goes on, very much as it has this past age, full of its own comings and goings, with change coming slowly, if it comes at all. For things are made to endure in the Shire, passing from one generation to the next. There's always been a Baggins living here under the hill in Bag End.
And there always will be.
To tell you the truth, Bilbo's been a bit odd lately. I mean, more than usual. He's taken to locking himself in his study. He spends hours and hours poring over old maps when he thinks I'm not looking.
No. I had read The Hobbit when I was young, but I hadn't graduated onto the great book, Lord of the Rings. Never worn the pin, you know, Gandalf the President, which was the famous... Lord of the Rings took off in America rather than England first, so they came round to my house. Like a couple of hobbits, actually. But I'm not sure that Peter Jackson was even wearing shoes. He never does in New Zealand. And they sat on my sofa and they showed me some designs and they talked about the story. And I rather grandly, I said, well, let me read the script. Oh, dear. And I wasn't mad keen. It was a year living in New Zealand, a place I'd always wanted to visit. I'd heard how beautiful it was. A year away from home, on a script that wasn't quite complete, based on books that I didn't know about. It wasn't the huge, big, chance of a lifetime that it turned out to be. Oh, a number of stories involved in how I very nearly couldn't do it because initially I was asked by Tom Cruise to be in Mission Impossible 2. And they would only show me part of one scene. I couldn't read the whole script in case I told people. So I said, I'm sorry, I can't be in your film because I don't know what it is. And my agent said, you're turning down the chance to work with Tom Cruise? I said, well, I don't know if it is a chance. Well, I did. That movie delayed and delayed and delayed. Tony Hopkins played my part. And if I'd contracted myself to do that, I wouldn't have been able to do X-Men, and I wouldn't have been able to do Lord of the Rings. Now, I'd agreed to do X-Men first with Brian, and he told me that his dates had slipped, so that I now couldn't arrive in New Zealand on time to do Gandalf. So I had to call up Peter Jackson and say, sorry, I'm not doing it because I promised to work in the other film first. He said, well, I'll keep it open for a bit. And that night I was in Sheiky's restaurant in London having a fish supper. And Bob Shea came in. I didn't know him. He put his hands on my shoulder and said, looking forward to working with you. And I said, I'm sorry, I can't do it. I've got to do X-Men. So leave it to me. Well, And, well, an arrangement was made. And Brian, bless his heart, Brian Singer couldn't put it in writing, but he said to me, hand on heart, I will make sure that you're ready if they can just slip their dates a little bit. And they did. And he finished me on time, and I started work on the first week of the millennium. And talking about what he thought was going to happen, this huge project, the internet had just been invented. You could send emails to people, you could access people's websites, you could begin to communicate with people who you never meet. Like-minded people. And I used to send a regular diary from the set, as did people. Together we invented blogging.
Congratulations.
It had not been done before. I called it e-posts. Didn't catch on. Blogging. And we got messages back saying that there were many, many people were very, very keen on the idea of this film as long as it was the film that they wanted to be made. That it was going to be their Middle Earth. And therefore they were constantly saying, you are going to include so you're not going to cut out one of the characters. There was some disapproval to me playing Gandalf. We got the sense that there was an eager audience, and much to the disapproval of the PR people of the studio, under the radar, as it were, Peter and I were contacting these people and keeping them sweet. At the time the first film came out and we went back to New Zealand to do pickups on the second and then third films, we knew there were millions of people who couldn't wait for the films that were yet to come. And it's a very, very unusual situation to be in, to be making a film that you know is going to make an awful lot of money because the audience will definitely turn up to see it. So it was all charming and took this placed at the centre of all that, which I was.
November 5th, 2006. Dear Xavier High School and Miss Lockwood, and Messrs. Perrin, McFeely, Batten, Mora, and Conjusta, I thank you for your friendly letters. You sure know how to cheer up a really old geezer, 84 in his sunset years. I don't make public appearances anymore because I now resemble nothing so much as an iguana. What I had to say to you, moreover, would not take long, to wit. Practice any art, music, singing, dancing, acting, drawing, painting, sculpture, poetry, fiction, essays, reportage, no matter how well or badly, not to get money and fame, but to experience becoming, to find out what's inside you, to make your soul grow. Seriously, I mean, starting right now, do art and do it for the rest of your lives. Draw a funny or nice picture of Miss Lockwood and give it to her. Dance home after school and sing in the shower and on and on. Make a face in your mashed potatoes. Pretend you're Count Dracula. Here's an assignment for tonight, and I hope Miss Lockwood will flunk you if you don't do it. Write a 6-line poem about anything, but rhymed. No fair tennis without a net. Make it as good as you possibly can, but don't tell anybody what you're doing. Don't show it or recite it to anybody, not even your girlfriend or parents or whatever, or Miss Lockwood, okay? Tear it up into teeny-weeny pieces and discard them into widely separated trash receptacles. You will find that you have already been gloriously rewarded for your poem. You have experienced
He's up to something.
becoming, learned a lot more about what's inside you, and you have made your soul grow. God bless you all.
All right, then.
Very fine.
Keep your secrets.
Good.
But I know you have something to do with it.
Your gracious man.
Before you came along, we Bagginses were very well thought of.
Indeed.
Never had any adventures or did anything unexpected.
If you're referring to the incident with the dragon, I was barely involved. All I did was give your uncle a little nudge out of the door.
Whatever you did, you've been officially labeled a disturber of the peace. Gandalf, I'm glad you're back.
So am I, dear boy. So am I.